Welcome to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, featuring Katrina, Ness, Vanessa Collins, and Ted Ings. This episode is brought to you by BG Products, partners beyond products. And now for your hosts, Ted Ings, Vanessa Collins, and Katrina Ness.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable's After Dark show. Tonight's episode is very special as we are announcing our Sean Butler Best Practice Award winners. So welcome to our very special guests.
Yes, and thank you, Vanessa, and welcome Katrina as well from Northwood University, our co-hosts, and we're really honored tonight and to be able to congratulate Tiffany Peeler, Vice President of Proactive Dealer Solutions, Brook.ai, and Better Car People. And Tiffany also brought with her some new retail folks to the show. And Tiffany, congratulations to you, and maybe you want to introduce Micah and Bree and tell us who they are and kind of get things started.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Ted, Katrina, Vanessa. Thank you to all three of you. Super excited to be here on After Dark and to receive the Best Practice Award. Micah, Rowland, and Breeanna join us from the Rezi group. They are customers of ours, users of Brook.ai, and they have been such incredible partners as we've launched the application across their 5 stores. They have really partnered with us, and they have come up with some incredible, inventive ways to market, introduce, educate their customers on the digital voice assistant, what the benefits are to their customer base, how to interact with it. And we're glad that it resonated with all of your viewers, Ted, and that they decided to vote Micah and Breeanna as Best Practice Award winners. So I'll start by introducing Micah, Variable Operations Director for the group. Micah, you want to take it away and talk a little bit about Brook.ai and what you and Breeanna have done to really educate your customers on the tool.
Yeah, sure. So thank you all for having us. This is awesome. It's really cool. So couple of things like back at the end of 2023, I've been in charge of a multi-store call center for somewhere in the better part of 24 months, and 2023 ended up being a really tough year for retaining employment. We were back to the basics in our call center, and so I was trying to think of other ideas of how I could get this thing that worked once upon a time back to working again, so to speak. And I was really adverse to the AI. To the whole AI thing, but I knew that I needed to unburden very talented call agents to enable them to focus on what was important, which was growing revenue for our stores. So instead of hiring a bunch of people and having to, go through the whole turnover thing, like probably most of us that are on this call are privy to or adverse to at times, I ended up vetting candidates for an AI counterpart to see if we could unburden these very talented agents. I went through Proactive Dealer Solutions. I went through a couple of their competitors, just trying to determine what would be the best fit. And what I ended up finding is that behind Proactive Dealer Solutions and Brook AI was a vast amount of resources to help our team succeed. And so I did a small rollout with our newest store. It's a Hyundai store in McDonough, Georgia. And I just tested it out, not thinking it would ever work. I just wanted to make sure that, we could build it slowly. And I ended up incorporating Brook AI into all of our marketing. I ended up changing our phone script messages on our hold music. And I ended up putting posts, even as basic as they were, on our Facebook GMB page, Twitter, you name it. I was advertising this thing left and right to get customers' mindset changed with, you don't want to wait on hold. Take 3 minutes or less and book your service appointment with ease. And I made sure that my service managers, general managers, everybody was on the communication boat with making sure that everybody knew, how this worked, how to talk about it, how to sell it, so we could start building revenue in a huge way from an outbound perspective. It's now in 5 stores, and now my service managers and GMs know how the product works, and they coach about it, and they talk about it in the stores almost on a daily basis.
Katrina, do you hear that? He wasn't quite sure about the AI thing in the beginning, but he did the research, and here we are.
Yeah, and I think every day we see AI growing
exponentially. I mean, I feel like there's endless possibilities of what it can assist us with, not take over, but assist, and just elevate the customer experience as well as the day-to-day operations.
Wow. So, Breeanna, Bree, you came on board with the Roundtable in that segment with Micah and with Tiffany, and you told us about a unique best practice. Maybe before you share that with us, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us what you do, and give us some background there.
So I work at Nissan of Cookeville, and it's part of the Rezi group, and I'm the owner loyalty manager for the store. Essentially, Nissan felt as if there was a customer advocate placed in the stores that might help bridge the gap between, what customers are feeling and what the dealership's perception is. And I like to think of myself as Switzerland in most instances. We try and help bridge that gap where customers are understanding what's going on. It's more fluid for them to be aware of their vehicle needs. So whenever we were developing how to get everyone acquainted with Brook, my mind immediately went to the most common thing in our service drive, oil changes. So if you all are familiar with the little oil change stickers up in the upper corner of your windshield after you get one changed, we actually put a QR code with Brook AI on the sticker to where, I'm a mom, I'm in the parent pickup line, my oil, reminder comes on, I'm able just to scan that QR code and book my appointment. It's so easy, just taking out the hassle for customers.
And one of the things we talked about, Bree, is that's typically downtime, right? Waiting in the carpool lane, and you've got the car there, you've got the sticker, you see the mileage, you know what it's due, and you've got your phone nearby, and you're not, necessarily driving at that moment. So, what a great use of time. And you actually showed us the stickers at the Roundtable, and Tiffany, I was so impressed with that, and you had told me about that earlier.
Yeah. I was so impressed with that as well. Breeanna and Micah shared a little image of sent us like a screenshot of the sticker to one of our dealer performance managers. He shared it with the company and said, hey, look at what Mike Rezi is doing. How awesome is this? What the Mike Rezi team is doing. And it just like hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, how smart. Because I too am a mom, right? And we work and we're all busy people. And how smart it is, because that's when this pops into your mind, right? It's always at the most inconvenient times, or the times that you're doing other things that you think, oh, I got to make that dentist appointment, or oh, I got to call and book myself an oil change. And for Breeanna to just put the logo and the phone number right there on the sticker, so they have an easy way to call and make the appointment, regardless of day of week, regardless of if it's a holiday, time of day, the customer can call in at any point and be able to book on their own. I mean, it was brilliant. It's so simple and so brilliant at the same time. So I loved it. And I'm just really pumped that these two got voted as the Best Practice Awards winners. So yeah, it was exciting.
And Bree, what a great use of the QR code. A lot of companies and a lot of folks want to use the QR code in marketing, but I mean, you've got the ability to have it there on the windshield. They're going to use their phone to scan it. So it's not appearing on the phone. It's in physical real life, and really smart. Have customers, been using that, or what are the customers saying about it?
I have had really good feedback from everything that we've implemented with Brook AI. Micah actually sent out some emails to customers letting them know, hey, we have an update to our system. And with that, we always pair the logo. And Brook has great colors that are very vivid and easy for people just to remember. So putting that little logo, people have actually said, oh, they're cute. They have pink. So they're precious. And it helps people remember, hey, they're there. And we've had nothing but success. So I'm very happy about it.
Micah, how's the move to Brook AI been overall?
So obviously with just like with anything, there's always bumps in the road at first. That's why we determined to do it with one store first and then roll out as we went. But the reception has been overall positive. I would say the biggest thing is preparation of your, or preparing your customer base and preparing your management staff to know what changes. I was very, a lot of this I did on my own in the very beginning, because the last thing any general manager wants to hear about is another expense to the store and what it does. So I thought, if this is really going to work, I've got to prepare and have the data behind it to show that it works. So I was very methodical with, each store's got to have their own Brook AI tracking number. That way, if we're advertising or something and someone picks up that phone, whether it be in an e-blast or a GMB post or whatever, like, we can track those calls and show what's happening. We have to make sure our service schedulers are right. If someone doesn't want to use the AI tool and they want to book online, are all of our prices right online? Is our availability online matching the capacity in the scheduling tool? Are you continuously promoting the product before it launches? So after the McDonough store launch, what we did for the next store is 3 weeks in advance, I had the owner loyalty manager at that store, our Kia store next, put flyers all throughout the service drive saying, hey, on this date, this is coming, get ready. I even had a test code, like, hey, if you want to test it, call this number, so you can walk your way through an appointment. Just simple key phrases. Do you want to save time booking your appointment? Tired of waiting on hold? Just little bitty, just planting seeds early. And then I would have service managers, even give the Brook test number to the advisor so they could book their own appointments, so they knew what a customer would go through. Just these little bitty steps to make sure. And we didn't stop talking about it either. That was the biggest thing. Every day, my team would probably tell me I'm super annoying, but every day I'd be like, have you talked about Brook AI today with your team? Are you talking about it when your customer leaves after checking out? Are you encouraging them to use Brook on for their next visit so they can save time? There was one, I think, before we did our Nissan of Cookville launch, which was store number 3, I had done the math. The average customer in a call center can spend up to 5 minutes on hold, depending on how heavy call volume is. Imagine if you can book an appointment in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and what could that agent do with that other 2 minutes and 30 seconds? Maybe they make 2 outbound calls, book 1 appointment. Maybe that outbound appointment is an engine replacement that makes the store a lot of money and helps a customer get their car back on the road. Like, that's how I started thinking about it.
So Tiffany, at Northwood University, they actually have a fixed operations class, okay? And I'm curious, and I'll ask Katrina and then Vanessa, how is AI working its way into the curriculum at Northwood, and what are you seeing? Because I know you go to actual dealers, you present fixed operations plans, help make them more efficient, and get feedback from them. Katrina, first, what are you hearing about AI out there?
In our classes, we've had a couple different guest speakers come in to speak about AI and like what the different products do. I remember one company came in and talked about AI on like the phone and answering stuff like that. And something I learned about it, it's very important to have alternatives. And I think, Micah, you did a great job really expressing that and showing how you guys implemented it within your customer base and also within your employees within the store. So I think what I've learned a lot about AI is a lot of people are not willing to adapt yet within the dealership, and also customers. Like, a lot of them don't want to use AI, and they just are like, I just want to do it over the phone and do it with a person. And so I think that was one of the largest things I've learned. But yes, in our fixed ops class, we're getting into it a little bit, but it's more of a slower process because we still follow like a basic curriculum within learning about the fixed ops side of the industry, rather than learning about how AI could affect it and make it more efficient. But I think that would be a good add-on in the future as well.
And Vanessa, your thoughts?
Yeah. So in my master's classes, we, are encouraged to use it as a tool, but not to, abuse it. And I think that, again, Micah, like, you having different alternatives helps to capture consumers at, every point in the market, from the younger consumers who might be more apt to, prefer AI. Like, I wouldn't mind, booking through Brook AI. But then also the older crowd who, might be hesitant to AI. And as a consumer personally, that human to human connection is so important. And I think the automotive industry fully understands that, being the people's business. So having that option to not use AI and, keeping that human interaction within the dealership is so important.
Yeah, I think the goal of AI, whether it's is to create efficiency, right? It's to automate or use technology to do some of the routine tasks so that we can free up our most valuable asset, which is our people, to focus on the more complex or difficult tasks that really are what drive revenue for the store, right? You're always going to need people. People is a big important part of it. And that's really our philosophy as a company. Our goal with the Brook AI application is not to eliminate people. It's to allow them to do more for the store, or do more of the more valuable parts of their job by eliminating the easy or routine type stuff, right? That's why with our options, we're pairing technology with people for a lot of the stores that we support. We didn't necessarily have to do that for the Mike Rezi group because they've got a high performing centralized service BDC. So they just needed the tech piece. But for the stores that don't, you still need to give the customer the option to have that human interaction if they don't want to, because that's okay. But on average, about only 20% of customers actually ask to be transferred to a person to be helped. The other, 80% of customers are fine scheduling with the Brook application. But to Micah's point, if you put too many business rules in place, or if you do not have your scheduling tool optimized, it can cause certain transfers to happen, right? So you have to be willing, as a variable ops director, fixed ops director, general manager, or service advisor, you have to be willing to do the work to optimize your schedule with our help and our guidance. You have to be willing to do what Micah and Breeanna did and really educate the staff in the store, but also the customer base on, hey, we're implementing this so it's easy and convenient for you. But if you don't want to, just tell it and you'll be transferred to a person that is highly trained and capable and ready to help you, right? Because you always need both. But I'm excited to see how many appointments we do with the Brook application on Thanksgiving Day. First, that's always a really big day for Brook AI. You'd be pretty shocked how many people book appointments on Thanksgiving Day, interestingly. So yeah, then the next time we all get together, I'll have to give you an update on that.
Wow. Yeah.
And Micah, you're not open on Thanksgiving, are you?
Nope. No.
Goodness, right?
I hope not.
Yeah. Who does that?
But you're right. Tiffany has shared a lot of stories from retailers over the last year and a half, 2 years, that they have booked appointments for service on Thanksgiving, and not a few, Micah, a lot of them.
Yeah, it's the funniest thing. I think everyone's like, oh, let me take a break from the family and walk outside and book these service appointments I've been meaning to get to. And here we are.
Micah, how big is the education piece for not just the consumer, but for the people who work at the dealership?
So I believe it's a huge piece. In fact, like I stated earlier, it's continuous. I mean, just a few days ago, I reminded the service management team again to keep coaching their teams on, hey, if you need a walkthrough with Brook AI, or if someone's complaining about it, or if somebody has an issue with it, help them, coach them with these steps. I think the biggest issue we run into when we do, and of course the proactive team is, we've got a great account manager, has always been quick to help handle our problems or help explain it to me over and over again in case I'm confused about it. But the biggest thing is, how do you get transferred to a person if you don't want to deal with the AI portion? So we've even went as far as in our eBlast, in our eBlast system, or even some of our posting systems through social medias. Hey, here's what a copy of our phone tree looks like, Mr. and Miss Customer. You call into the store, you press 1 for service. You're going to get an option that says press 1 to book an appointment, press 2 to speak with a real person. The choice is yours. And so just a lot of that transparency and letting the customer in just a little bit behind the curtain is, hey, here's how you get to where you need to go next. And why would anybody want to be afraid of doing that? It's 2024. It's time to step up and take care of customers and not keep them from what they need.
Breeanna, this is all very transparent, and things like Micah's mentioning, showing that phone tree, that's really, even for car dealers, that's out of the box thinking, Bree.
It is. One of the best things I've learned is just to be transparent with your customers also. A lot of times it's maybe an older person that's like, hey, was I speaking to a robot? And once you explain to them the purpose behind it and how to get around it, if they would prefer to get around it, they're more accepting. So, instead of taking it as a setback, just educate people and make them on the same level that you're on. Everything runs a lot smoother that way.
Yeah, good point. And Tiffany, what are you seeing out there? I know you highlighted the Mike Rezi group early, but how are you seeing the adoption to AI? Because there seems to have been a resurgence now recently with a lot more interest. After we've we got it out to a number of dealers, and now they're all. I'm hearing a lot more people talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we brought Brook to market 4 years ago. And at first, there was a lot of interest. It's always the early adopters who are willing to kind of jump in with both feet. And then there was a learning curve, right? As with any new technology that you introduce, there's a learning curve for the customers. There's also a learning curve for us as we introduce this brand new technology into the space. And through those learnings, the first 1 to 2 years, we made adjustments to the application. We made adjustments that allowed every store to kind of customize how they use the solution, what they allow it to book, how they allow it to book, if they want to recommend recalls or not, if they want specific transportation options transferred to people, right? You've got pickup and delivery. You have several OEMs who are really promoting this mobile service, Ford, Nissan. And pickup and delivery appointments technically are handled by one person specifically in store. Even when you have a centralized BDC, each individual location might have a person responsible to organize mobile service. So we had to implement those things and add those capabilities to the platform. And as we've done that, we have only seen an improvement as far as customer experience as they interact with the tool. Again, the percentage of customers who ask to be transferred or need to be transferred has decreased pretty drastically since we launched. And now with the improved performance and higher ability for a store to customize how they use the tool, we're getting a lot more interest again. So the resurgence of interest in how we can utilize AI to streamline operations and create efficiencies and ultimately save us $1 is certainly kind of back in focus.
Tiffany, what about recalls? Because I know you have been working on that a while back. When I make an appointment now with Brook.ai, does Brook recognize?
Yeah.
Michael, you're shaking your head. Recalls, and you're able to inform the customer that there's an open recall on the vehicle?
Yeah. I was going to let Micah jump in there, but yes, we do mileage-based maintenance, and we also do recalls as well. So we can recognize if a specific vehicle has an open recall and say to the customer, hey, our records indicate that you have a recall on your vehicle. Do you want to go ahead and have that completed? Please note there'll be no charge to you. As you can imagine, we have a pretty high take rate on those. The customer says yes about 80% of the time when you recommend a recall. But we also added the ability for stores to exclude specific recalls being offered, right? So if you don't have a remedy or if you can't get the parts on a specific recall, you just tell Brook, don't offer this one, and we won't, so that we don't get into those issues where we're bogging down parts department or filling up time on work that they can't do, right?
Micah, there's no way a person can look it up that quick the way Brook.ai can.
No. And the exclusion tool is actually extremely helpful too. We've had several of our service managers, there are a few Nissan and Hyundai recalls that need that extra piece of, that need that extra consultation. So we just have her exclude those, especially the ones that need like a dual inspection. They need an inspection first. Then you determine if the VIN needs the part. We leave those out. Mostly for software updates and easy recalls do we leave the switch on for that.
Yeah, and not only is it fast that we look it up, but it's consistent. Right? If a vehicle has a recall and it is not excluded, it is recommended, period. Right? So not even one customer is kind of left off that. So there's something nice about being able to control the consistency at which your phone calls are upsold, right? I mean, or where services are recommended. I've been working in this industry like 10 and a half years. And that entire time I've been teaching people how important it is to do it on every call. And this kind of technology allows you to ensure that you're doing that. So a little bit of peace of mind there as well.
And Micah, if I can, you're not a fixed ops person. You're a variable person who found this for fixed ops and for the entire dealership. If you want to speak to
that's exactly right. So when I was asked to move down to Atlanta, where the home base dealership is, Mike Rezi Nissan, the whole goal was for me to hit the ground running, building a call center for fixed operations, a centralized call center. So I had to cut my teeth on some service knowledge to get that built up. I had actually gotten my feet wet at Nissan of Cookeville before I moved. My challenge there was taking the current BDC staff that we had and train them at the drop of a hat to be able to either answer a sales-oriented call or a service-oriented call, because we didn't have the capacity to do both. So an agent had to do both when they answered the phone. So that took some time to get really good. We were able to build that up, and then the next thing is hey, we're going to start doing this at Mike Rezi Nissan, but eventually it's going to connect every store. So that's lots of meetings with parts managers, service managers, getting them all to communicate on one page. Someone who could be on this call told me a while back that would be the hardest thing to do, getting service managers to communicate not only with someone in my position, but to communicate with one another when it was time. So a lot of what I've done has been, and I've had the ability to do it. Mr. Rezi is a great owner. He gives me a lot of lane to move to where I can make these things happen. Bree would say the same, but a lot of it was forced family fun. A lot of it was bringing these guys to the table and saying, hey, this is what as a group we are going to do. Please air out all your grievances now, because we're going to give this a try. If we figure out 6 months from now it doesn't work, then we can go back and regroup. But now we need to try to make a change, and this is what it's going to look like.
Bree, anything you'd like to add from your perspective there?
I couldn't agree more with Micah. I mean, as long as you can get all of your team on the same page that this is beneficial for not only the dealership's personnel, but your customers, I mean, you're unstoppable as a team. So if you guys are looking into adopting Brook AI into your processes, I couldn't recommend their team more as well. They've been so supportive throughout this whole journey, and I'm just very grateful for that.
Well, congratulations again tonight.
Thank you.
Tiffany Peeler at Proactive Dealer Solutions and Brook.ai. And Tony Owens says, yep, centralized BDC. Yep, we love the benefits of that. Congratulations to Bree Hodge, okay, at the Mike Rezi Group. Congratulations to you on the Best Practice Award. And Micah Rowland at Mike Rezi. So congratulations to you. Also want to congratulate Kevin Dunmeyer, who's not with us tonight, from Tom Wood Automotive Group out in Indiana. Great job, Kevin. And Tyler Nathan at Jupiter Warranty, another Best Practice winner. So looking forward to seeing those awards in the next couple weeks. And this was a fun event, Vanessa. This tailgate touchdown.
I had a great time.
And we got a new theme, Vanessa, coming up, right, in January.
We do. We have our next event coming up January 20th through the 23rd, Route 66 Road Trip. I'm super excited for this theme. Again, as always, fixedopsroundtable.com to get your complimentary tickets. But yeah, I loved the tailgate touchdown theme, but I have a feeling this theme is going to be just as fun. So
we're going on a road trip, Route 66 it is. And I'm already getting a glimpse at some of the wardrobe and some of the costumes that are in store for us on this one. So you'll be seeing those soon. And Katrina, are you going to dress up for this one?
Yeah, Vanessa and I will. We're excited to get back into the swing of things. So it's something we'll look forward to.
You guys always have the best themes, Ted.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to see all the costumes for the next one.
Yep. Yeah. And this young lady here, Sarah Van Tyne, will be helping us out a whole lot on social media. Mike, I understand that you told me in the green room that you know who Sarah is. If you don't want to,
I do.
Share a little bit about that. Yeah.
2019, Mr. Rezi sent me to Scott Clark Toyota, where I sat and observed Sarah and her BDC operation for around 4 days. There was so much information that got crammed into this brain right here. I still don't know what I've done with it all, but she was the one that taught me about communication between departments and how vital it was to the success of something like this. So vastly appreciative, Miss Sarah.
That is so cool.
Yeah, there she is again. Sarah strikes again. Well, if I don't have a chance beforehand, I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving this week to you and your families and your dealership families and the Proactive and Brook.ai Better Car People family as well. Katrina and Vanessa, your families, and Northwood University, our family there. And greatly appreciative to all of you, including you, Robert Migliaccio, for coming in a little bit late, but you're here. Thank you very much for doing that. And we will see you all next week. Okay, we have a couple shows coming up on Monday and Wednesday. We are off to Bozard Ford Lincoln in December as well. We're doing a pop-up event there. We have a holiday show. Santa, I understand, Vanessa will be with us at Bozard and making an appearance there. And of course, the big holiday show we're going to have later this month after dark.
So. Lots of exciting things happening.
Yep. And Tiffany and Micah and Bree, thank you again for coming and being with us here tonight.
Thank you for having us. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks,
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.